It's truly the beginning of March. Also, hey, PSA. I know this is the very beginning of the podcast, but hey, tomorrow, put your clocks forward if you're in America.
Oh,
Don't forget to do that, or you'll just be completely discombobulated. Even though daylight savings time is the worst construct that this... I mean, it's not the worst thing that this country has ever done.
No.
That's completely wrong. But it's super dumb, and we don't really need it anymore.
No.
Ban it.
What am I gonna do?
What do you mean, what you're going to do?
Because I am short and cannot reach one of my clocks in order to change the time.
Well, I believe this is the time when you call one of your tall friends, as this is usually how it happens, and like, hey, I need my clock changed again.
I would feel really terrible just calling one of my tall friends and just be like, hey, can you come change my clock and then go home? Thank you, bye.
Or you do the thing that I sometimes do, where I'm too lazy to change the clock in my car and just leave it for 6 months.
That would give me panic. But I mean, that is a good PSA because I didn't know that was coming up, so I appreciate it.
I forgot that because for some reason I clicked on the computer calendar. It's like, hey, daylight savings time. You're going to lose an hour because life is terrible and everything sucks.
That's true.
But you know what doesn't suck? This podcast.
Ah.
Because it never does.
Nope. We're the best.
Hello. It's true. We're the best, the number one podcast in all of podcast professionalism.
You're the best around. Nothing was going to keep down.
Hello, welcome to the Season Anime Checkup OVA. This is episode 65.
Oh boy.
I'm Jared, joined as always by the number one rated podcast co-host, according to SeasonAnimeCheckup.com. That's Anne Ladyem.
Hi.
And we're going to talk to you about some games here on this podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga, because mostly we were like, ideas for a podcast, what are those?
Yeah.
We were on the struggle bus today. We figured out some stuff, and it should be a fun old jovial ride.
It was mainly because, like, our backup list, either you haven't completed things or we didn't have time to research them thoroughly enough that we felt like it would be a good podcast. So we're just like, all right, well, new plan.
And we're also just kind of in this weird lull period in terms of, like, stuff being released.
Yep.
To where it's not like we're both playing the same thing or, like, getting ready to do that or something of that nature. So it's a little bit strange compared to, like, last year where it was just like, bam, 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 bam.
Well, as we said last year was the release of the Switch. So last year I'd already beat Breath of the Wild, but still I was Breath of the Wild obsessed.
I mean, you wouldn't have beat it in 3 days. Well, by the time we're recording this, you wouldn't have beat it.
I beat it really quick.
You sure?
It was within a week.
I don't think it was this quick.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there are certain games I could do that, but I don't think it was Breath of the Wild because I was like, hey, I want to climb all the mountains.
And last year as well was just like an anomaly in terms of just like things kept coming out and there was just like no break. But we certainly have that, but we're going to talk about a game that just recently came out in terms of a remake and one that will be coming out next month because it got delayed for literally, I don't know. I couldn't tell you the reason because it doesn't make sense.
But you got like a secret sneak preview.
Technically, yeah. Thanks to some goof ups. We're going to talk about the Secret of Mana HD remake re-release thing. Yes. And also, we're going to talk about Yakuza 6. The Song of Life. That's the subtitle. There's no singing of life, but you can do karaoke, so I mean, and there's life in the game, so there you go. There's your connection.
I was thinking, like, the Yakuza character is singing The Sound of Music.
It's kind of a bummer because the Japanese subtitle is Poetry of Life, which I think is a little bit better.
Oh, yeah, I think that's better.
And ties into, like, one of the things that you see in the the small town that you go to. Like there's all these like poetry stones.
Oh.
So you could stop there and Kiryu reads a bit of poetry, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is what this means."
Oh yes, poetry. It exists.
Yes. So that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to start things off here because, like you said, I got a little bit of a taste of Yakuza 6 since the weird thing was the demo came out. I'm sure like everyone kind of knows this by now, but Sega released a demo, I think last week, and whoops, they kind of released the full game. If you did something within the demo, I think it was like if like one of the first things you do is go to the arcade and play Virtua Fighter 5. Or like go to the arcade in general, it somehow triggered something within the game to unlock the full game. Which is a strange thing to happen, but that was a thing that totally did happen. And at least from the brief bits that I saw, I only got through like I think to chapter 4 before I got locked out. But I don't understand why they delayed the game. Nothing in that seemed like it needed to be fixed or anything. So, but of course I didn't play through the entire thing, so I can't really say for certain. But it does make that delay seem a little bit suspect.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounded like to me, is that listening to you talk, that it played fine, didn't really have any game-breaking errors like another game that we're going to talk about on this podcast.
Nope, didn't get any crashes or anything, because it was supposed to come out on the 20th of this month of March, but now it's been pushed back to April 17th, which is also, I think, coincidentally the same day as like God of War, so like I don't know why you would push it to like that date.
Ugh.
But anyways,
subject for a different time, but I really, really hate God of War.
Yakuza 6, you can play Virtua Fighter 5 in it. Virtua Fighter 5 is still a very good game.
Oh yeah, I love that series.
You can play Puyo Puyo in it, and it's the version of Puyo Puyo from Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Whoa, that's neat.
And then they also brought back a bunch of like the old arcade games that they had from like Yakuza 0, so you can play Outrun, Super Hang-On, Space Harrier, and Fantasy Zone.
Space Harrier.
Welcome to the Fantasy Zone.
Yep.
So like all those are in there. And then there's like all just a bunch of like other mini games you can go do. Like there's still like bowling. I think you can go play like mahjong. Karaoke's still in there. And there's probably some other stuff that I just never got to within the demo. I know like one of the big, I guess, side missions is that like you're creating your own clan within the game. So like you go out and like recruit people, go into get in fights, and then bring them into your clan. And then that's like an entirely separate story, which it's weird because I think the premise of that story is that like there's this new gang in Kamurocho, which is where most of the Yakuza games take place. It's a fictional version of like an actual real life place in Shibuya or Shinjuku. If I could find what this says on here. But either way, it's like the red light district of that subset of Tokyo, basically. And I completely forgot where I was going with that point. Oh, right. So there's this new gang in Kamurocho, basically, and they're called Justice. I think it's like spelled Justiss. So it's really weird spelling. And it's like there's one like original character for the game that you see, but the other like main characters of this gang are all people from New Japan Pro Wrestling that they actually like scanned into the game and like had them voice their own characters and all that stuff. So you have like Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroshi Tenzan, Kazuchika Okada, Satoshi Kojima, Tetsuya Naito, and Toru Yano, which are all like big prominent names in the company. So it's real weird to see like one of the first cutscenes you get like of that kind of storyline is Kazuchika Okada, who's like basically considered one of like the actually best professional wrestlers out there today. And like you just see him like sizing up Kiryu in like this weird like way. It's like super surreal because like this should not make sense in any sort of way. But that's one of the, like the weird goofy things in this. Also, if you pay attention during the opening credits, you'll see the name Beat Takeshi is in this game.
Yeah, you sent me a screenshot, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
okay." I mean, it's great, and I mean, it looks just like him. So I'm really impressed by that.
Yeah, the engine, they switched to a new engine for this game specifically, and everything just looks fantastic. But it was one of those things where I was like, I know the name beat Takeshi, but I don't remember what from besides Takeshi's Challenge, that weird Famicom game. And then I saw him, I was like, it's the dude from Battle Royale.
Yep.
Except he looks way younger now. So that was fun, and he just literally, you introduced, the way they introduced him to you is like, he is the patriarch of this like Yakuza family, and he just got out of the hospital, and he's just chilling in his room eating a parfait.
Which again seems so much like him
Yeah,
because
yeah, exactly.
like I don't know how much you know about him, but he's actually a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did know that.
So like the fact that he was one in Battle Royale was amazing. But two, like the fact that he's just eating a parfait and he's like the leader of this Yakuza clan, it's just like, you know what? That makes total sense. Like you texted me that, I'm like, yeah, okay, fair. And then you told me, you're like, well, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Beat until I get the game next month. And I was like, he's just going to be sitting there eating his parfait.
He's going to be sitting there chilling.
Like in Battle Royale, he got shot and just decided to eat cookies.
Yep. So those are a couple of fun things that this game has. I mean, there's really not a lot of like story that I can kind of divulge into, mostly just because like spoilers, but not really because of spoilers, because I didn't get that far enough in to like really to get there. The opening of this game is very long and very like, it's a big info dump. Like they literally go through the end of Yakuza 5. Like they literally play those cutscenes, because you can tell that it's like, oh, this is the PS3 graphics and everything. So if you haven't played Yakuza 5 yet, like there's your spoiler warning that, hey, maybe you should go play that before you go pick up this. That's a fun game. You should probably do that anyways. But it does go through like all the events of that, so you get the lead up of like, okay, here's what happened after Yakuza 5 and all of that, and it's decently long. Like you're probably going to be sitting there for maybe like an hour or so before like you actually get into like the opening bits of that game. It's a lot of like exposition and info, because like there's a gap of I think like 3 years between the end of Yakuza 5, kind of where like the game picks up, and then where the game actually like lets you play the game per se. So there's a bit of stuff that's happened, and they have to go over that at the very beginning. But once you get into like the game itself, like it plays pretty much the same as the other ones. Like I said, there's a new engine, so like you can interact with like a lot of just stuff on the environment. Like you can go run into all the bikes if you want to and knock them all down because you're just a monster. And it makes like the fights that you get into just randomly in like the towns or cities that you're in a little bit more free flowing, because before they would like lock you into like a little set area when you'd get into one of those random battles. But now you can kind of just go wherever. Like you could probably like run away from one of those battles. You can kind of just run around, find weapons and pick them up, and you're just not restricted to anything. Like you can throw someone through a glass window of a business if you wanted to.
Did you do that?
I accidentally broke a window of a business and then went in to like be like, hey, sorry, can I buy something? And they're like, no, please go away. We do not want to have your business.
I love that you go in like, man, sorry, I didn't mean to break your window. I'll pay for it.
They wanted nothing to do with me.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
There is some like interesting, at least new mechanics. Like there's a hunger meter. I think like you have to like basically eat to gain a little bit. Like you eat, and then like if you have stuff in your stomach, like you'll gain like more experience when you do fights and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, I need a hunger meter.
You can go into all the restaurants and buy whatever food you want. Like there was this like fast food place, and I bought some chicken strips. And it's like, oh man, those chicken strips look good.
Yeah, you sent me pictures of the menu. Like stuff was surprisingly affordable and looked fantastic.
You can go up to vending machines and literally, it like you go to the vending machine and then it takes you like right to the screen. So like you cycle through like all the options in the vending machine. And then once it comes out, you have to like hold a button to like drink it, and you just like walk around with like the drink in your hand until you finish it. It's real good. But basically, you kind of like spend like I think the first chapter in Kamurocho. Like, there's enough time to do a couple of side stories there that are they're pretty interesting. Like there's literally one where you're introduced to one of like the side things in the game is basically you go on to chat rooms and chat with cam girls.
Oh my god.
So that's an interesting thing.
Like how is that mechanic?
It's basically it's a mini game where you have to like it's almost like a mini rhythm game where you press buttons in conjunction of like typing.
Okay. I didn't know it was like
and one of them is like you just type out boobs.
That was what I was gonna ask, is like how gross is it?
I mean,
but answering the fact that one of the answers is boobs is a good answer for me.
I don't think there's nudity, so
no, that's not what I meant.
But yeah, it's
because like
it's that. It's not like
it's
super skeevy, but it's skeevy.
Yeah, it's kind of like the old like 4chan joke of like or GTFO.
But yeah,
like yeah.
But it is kind of funny because Kiryu doesn't know how to type, so he just finger pecks everything.
Oh my god,
it's real good.
Well, I mean, he is like.
It's like he's a 48-year-old man who's been in, like,
he's near 50, right?
He's been in the Yakuza or like been associated with the Yakuza for a long time. He doesn't have time to deal with technology.
Well, I mean, not to like not my mom or anything, but like my mom doesn't type very well. And she's and she's like 56, so
yeah, it's fair.
It makes sense because like we always have had computers, but
they haven't.
And like typewriters weren't everywhere.
There's also a side quest where I got a helper on my smartphone, like a Siri thing, and it hated Siri, and it also Siri. It would not let me delete it because it thought I was going to kill it. And like the end of that side quest is like the person who gave me the app being like, yo, we got to delete this off every phone. This is bad. It's going to gain sentience.
Oh my god.
But yeah, essentially you stay in Kamurocho for like a tiny bit. Like you meet the Yakuza at one point, and they're sketchy because there's like this young kid who's like being real sketch. But then eventually you leave because you find out that like one of the other main characters throughout the game, Haruka, who is basically kind of like your adopted daughter, even though like it's not necessarily adoption, but she kind of just like is found by Kiryu and he kind of just raises her here and there as well. All the while like he owns an orphanage, and that's like another place you go into in the beginning. But she gets hit by a car, and he's trying to figure out like what happened because she's been gone for like 3 years doing something, and we don't know exactly what that is. And the other like big revelation is that like, oh, she had this kid with her, and why does she have this kid? Where's she been? Who's the kid's dad? We don't know. And then Kiryu steals the kid.
So was the kid with her when she got hit by the car, or is this just like
they specifically make mention that like she protects the kid when she gets hit?
Okay.
And that's why she's in a coma.
So does he like go to the scene of the accident and just retrieve baby?
He goes to the scene of the accident because like someone he knows tells him about it and like kind of goes over like the scene, and then he goes to the hospital and that's where he sees the kid essentially. Mm-hmm. And then basically he goes back to the hospital, and then like that's where you meet like the child protective service dude who's like, I'm just gonna put that kid in an orphanage because she's in a coma and she has no other living relatives, so f*** you. And then Kiryu's like, well, gotta steal this kid then.
But didn't he say he owns an orphanage?
Yeah.
Couldn't he just put the kid in his orphanage?
Oh, the kids, they're just kids at his orphanage. Like they're just teenagers there, so I don't think they'd be well equipped to take care of a baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. So it's like Yakuza with a heart of gold.
That's basically the series.
But also like stealing babies is probably not the best idea, but
one of the other characters that he's with, Akiyama, is basically like, you shouldn't steal this kid. This is a bad idea. And he's just like, look, I know, but I'm gonna do it anyways. You can't stop me. And they get into a fight in like the children's like room that the kid's in.
It's like the whole joke with cats that like they want to knock something off, and you're like, don't do that. And you're
Yeah.
like, what if I do anyway? That's him with stealing babies. I guess I shouldn't make that plural. He only steals one
He only
baby.
stole one baby.
To his credit.
There was a funny thing like later on where like someone asked him like, "Did you steal this baby?" And they're like, "No, he wouldn't have done that." And he's like, "Well, I can't really say no to that."
No comment on whether or not this baby was actually stolen. But yes, it was stolen.
But after that, they find out like they were able to recover like a photo from Haruka's phone, and they were able to like trace it to like she was in this like small town in Hiroshima. So that's where the game takes you next, is like you go to Hiroshima, and you're basically trying to find out, okay, why was she here? Is the baby daddy here? Just trying to find just some information because she's kind of indisposed of at the moment. And that's kind of where I was for like the next couple of chapters, where you go there, get into a little bit of trouble with the Yakuza family that lives there, which is funny because before you leave, like there's a friend of yours that's a detective, and he's like, look, there's just like separate Yakuza clan that's in Hiroshima that like doesn't mess with the other two clans that are very prevalent throughout the series. And there's a reason why people don't go there, because they're like neutral, and we don't want to like spark this huge giant thing. And he gets like this huge speech, and then the first thing he does when he gets there is he goes into this bar and then gets into a fight with one of those Yakuza members.
Of course.
So that happens, and then like there's this whole thing of like the guy who you get into a fight with just keeps like goading you into fights and everything, and then eventually he's just like, okay, now you're just my big brother. I respect you.
So I have a historian question.
Okay.
Can you like explore Hiroshima?
Just that small town you're in.
Okay, I was wondering like, can you see like the nuclear peace memorial?
You're just contained to that little town.
That's a bummer because that place is really interesting.
But like, kind of going off that, like though, they really make that feel like a small town, like a small Japanese town specifically.
Yeah.
Like it seems like everything's kind of tight knit. Everyone's very like communal in it. There's not a lot of, like, there's no big chain stores. Everything is all local in terms of like restaurants or just like pharmacies or general stores and that sort of thing. And it really changes the whole dynamic of like how you look at that game, because the first city you're in is just basically like it's bustling Tokyo. So like there's, chain convenience stores, chain fast food restaurants, there's Club Segas everywhere. And then you get to
huge.
Yeah, and then you get to Hiroshima, and it's like there's none of that, and it's just like it's very rural, and you really get to feel that and understand like what exactly a rural Japanese town is, and like hearing people be like, yeah, this town's not doing well, like we're kind of on the outs. We were this fishing town at one point, but now that's going up. A lot of the businesses are closing down, all that sort of stuff. So you get this anxiety of like they don't like outsiders. And they are especially anxious of like, oh man, things are not going well for this town. So like I think that's like some of like just the interesting things that they're able to put into this game. Even like the few chapters I played of it, you get that sense of it.
As a side note that has nothing to do with this game at all, actually, tangent, but did you know that Sue Metal of Baby Metal is from Hiroshima?
I did not.
She is. That is her hometown. Right? She should have. That is her hometown.
That should have been a side quest. Hey, hello, I'm here.
Hi, it's Sue Metal. Cool. What up, Sue Metal? Fun fact of the day.
There's apparently some like real goofy stuff that you can get into in the Hiroshima part. Like one of them I think is like you get a job as the town mascot. And you get to wear the town mascot suit and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of like interesting things, and I'm very interested to see where that story goes, because the first 4 chapters seem real interesting, and you get to run around with the baby at some points. There's one point where you have to calm the baby because it's upset, and you're like, oh god, I need to find formula. Everything's closed because it's a rural town and they close at like 5 p.m.
which led to some funny conversation with the two of us because you're like, I have to find something to feed this baby, and I was like, well, what do you feed the baby? Feed it potatoes. And then like, don't feed the baby potatoes. Yeah, mashed potatoes. You feed babies that. And then there was some other conversation, and it basically led to me saying that, like, I'm glad that you found a solution because my next solution was to just get rid of the baby.
Throw it in the ocean.
Throw it in the ocean.
The solution was the baby wasn't hungry. He just wanted to sleep.
Are you serious?
Yep. Curious just like, whoa. Why did I do all this just so I would sleep? Oh.
Oh my god. That would be really irritating.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the problem with babies is they can't tell you what's wrong with them.
It's true. The baby beat Takeshi at one point. Because I took the baby to the Yakuza office.
Oh my god.
And the baby like went over to beat Takeshi and was like, hello. And he was just like, oh, okay, hey, it's a baby.
How old is this baby?
Like a year? Maybe
Okay.
around a year or something like that.
Okay.
Even though this Wikipedia page says it's a newborn, but I don't think it's a newborn.
It didn't look like a newborn based on like the pictures that you were sending me.
Yeah.
But I also have like negative 10,000 knowledge on babies. Like I told you to throw it in the ocean. So
I would say it's probably like 6 months to a year.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
Can it hold its head up?
Yes.
I think that means that it's older. Because newborn babies can't hold their own
Yeah.
head. Wait. You have to like support their necks or else they snap. I do know that.
The kid was able to crawl.
Okay, yeah, then they're at least 6 months to
Yeah.
a year.
Also, everyone just dunks on Kiryu and says he's old. Even though he's like 48 and he doesn't look that old, but they're like, look at this grandpa.
God. I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that my students think that I'm like a grandma because like I am 30 and throw down weird references that they don't understand.
I mean that part is probably the main case.
I mean, to be fair, like I throw down references from stuff that was around before even I was born, so
True.
it's not necessarily my age, it's more my interests. Like Peter Cetera.
One of the interesting things that I found before I got locked out was that there's a side quest that is basically, they literally reference it. It is basically the anime film The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. And they literally also call it The Girl Who Leapt Through Time? ? Which is, I don't know the politics of how that came about, but that's interesting.
That is.
It's a strange thing. But yeah, like I didn't get into a lot of like the actual game because I only got like 4 chapters in, I think I said. And there's probably, if Yakuza 0 is to any indicator, it's probably going to be at least 15 to 20 maybe. That would make sense. So like I didn't get into like the clan creator stuff. I didn't get into like any of that. Basically got like a good sip of the story. The glass full story.
Update your system.
Yep, and then Seiko's like, locked!
I can't believe you're connected to the internet.
Yeah.
I would have left that off.
I had to do stuff on the internet, so it was one of the things. I figured, like, I knew that was going to happen anyway, so I was like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I am excited to play that game when it comes out, so that's something.
So that's your Yakuza update.
The Yakuza update. Yakuza
based on a
preview.
demo.
Yakuza 6 seems pretty dang good.
I mean, as somebody who's literally never played the series and just knows like stuff from you, for one, it looks fantastic.
Yes.
Like it looks so good, and two, like I think the humor in it is really funny.
It's very like, it takes itself seriously, but it also doesn't. Like,
yeah.
When like the main story beats, it's very serious. Other stuff, it can go just completely bonkers.
I mean, 2 men fighting on whether or not you should steal a baby in like the baby room is funny. regardless of if it's meant to be serious. That's funny.
Fighting 3 other dudes on a baseball field just because.
Yeah, why not?
It's very good. Also, like, just like those the fight choreography in that thing is in those games are very good.
Well, didn't you say they do some mocap?
Probably.
Well, because like you said that they scanned some people in, so I'm assuming they did some mocap at least.
Yeah, that would make sense because I think like the wrestlers have like their finishing moves in the game, so it would make sense if they did mocap for that, and also just for like the fighting stuff in general.
Yeah, I would think that they at least did some of it, which might explain why it looks good. But
Yeah.
I don't know for sure because I know nothing about this series.
So yeah, like that's if you're at all interested in this series, like obviously going into the 6th version of the series is a little weird and you're going to be kind of lost. They do have like a good little like primer, I think, like right, like you can access this from the main menu of like here's what happened in Yakuza 1 through 5. And you can go through game by game and they'll give you like the story synopsis of all those games.
But what about Zero?
It actually doesn't have 0, which is the strange thing.
Huh.
I mean, you should play 0 as well because 0 is fantastic. But if you, I mean, I guess if you played 0 and you're like, man, I want a new Yakuza game. 6 is here soon. But like I said, it's a little weird to go from a prequel to then skipping the other 5 games and then going to 6. But that's just the strangeness of the series sometimes. But 6 seems real good. I'm real excited to see where else they go with it and like the story specifically, just to see what kind of wacky shenanigans happen and all that jazz. Especially because this is the team that's making this. Like one of the next games they're working on is literally, hey, it's the Yakuza team, but we're making a Fist of the North Star game.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If that's any indication. And like will always be said, hey, the Yakuza games are what would have happened if Shenmue was good.
Oh, sick burn.
Also, I don't know if you've ever seen the creative director of the Yakuza series, but he looks like the person who would make these games.
I have not seen him, but now I want to.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'll look at it when we get off the pod.
So yeah, that was your Yakuza 6 preview update doohickey thingamajig.
Yay! So I guess Secret of Mana?
Let's talk about that Secret of Mana remake.
Which should be said, throughout the game they say mana.
Oh, can I cut you off for a second? Because I just read this. Like we were talking about, the dude who made the Yakuza games, he made Daytona USA.
Did he really?
Yep.
Wow.
Sorry, you can continue now.
I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, they pronounce it mana, and yes. I cannot say it as mana, so I will continuously call it Secret of Mana because that is how I've always said it, and that's how I'm going to continue to say it, Secret of Mana. So, if you do not know, in which case, where have you been? But this game came out in the States in 1993 originally, and so it was a Super Nintendo game. It was really innovative at the time because it had like 2 AI party members, and it was done by Square Enix, or Square at that point. And it was supposed to be kind of like a hybrid RPG. It was supposed to be more of like a active style combat, which it was. And there was a lot of connections between this and Chrono Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why a lot of the characters some look the same-ish. Prem is your main hint at that. So I played this game when I was a kid a lot, and I loved it when I was a kid. I never actually beat it when I was a kid. I will say that. But I mean, I don't know how old I was in '93. Math. I was a small child. Probably around like 4, 5, somewhere like that. I don't remember. But anyway, I played this game and I enjoyed it, and it also had multiplayer, which was crazy for a Super Nintendo game. Like it multiplayer RPG essentially. So when I found out that they were remaking it in HD with like new sprites or new models, whatever you want to call them, I was real stoked, like real stoked. And if you've listened to this podcast at all, you know how much I hate Square Enix at this point. This does not help. So it came out around Valentine's Day. So let me check. February 15th of this year. And it was PC, PS4, and Vita. And one of the things that was irritating to me is that the only physical version of it was at GameStop.
Yeah.
So that was a tragedy. And so I played it and I beat it. It wasn't bad. And they did some things that I felt like were a real improvement, and then they did some things that are questionable. I guess I'll start with the good, and that I felt like the models looked really nice. The thing that's weird about that is that their mouths don't move when they speak, but they kind of keep like the cartoony look to them. You can see more of the details of the character design, which is elaborate. If you look at the original character design, it was elaborate, and they couldn't really show that on the Super Nintendo. So you get more of like who these characters are. Mm-hmm. And the worlds are really immersive and fun. And one of the things that I loved is that you have the map, and then the mini map is like the Super Nintendo game. Like you can see what it looked like on the Super Nintendo in the mini map. And that was really clever. They also remixed the entire soundtrack, which you can switch between the original tracks and the remix tracks at any time in the menu, which again is smart. But I saw on reviews a lot of people didn't like the new soundtrack. I don't exactly know why. Like it was fine. I didn't really have. I think there was one that I had an issue with because it was kind of like dubsteppy for no reason. And I was like, all right, I'm in a castle, and this sounds like dubstep. Like I can hear the drop and the whoop whoop. So,
whoop whoop.
Go figure. And certain things like don't always translate well. Is one of the character models from Super Nintendo was that the store clerks, whenever you go into the store to like buy armor or items or whatever, they danced. They're always dancing.
I love dance.
And it looks really weird on a new model. So you just have like this like 3D model like dancing around while you're buying things. So that was odd. And I think one of the best improvements that this game got, besides like aesthetics, is that anytime you stay in an inn now, you get like little short skit cutscenes with the 3 main characters. Mm-hmm. And so you can kind of get to know more of like how they get along, what they think of each other, like what they think about the plot points. And you didn't have that in the Super Nintendo. And I think that was a really neat addition because you do kind of get some ideas of like tensions between characters. You get the idea that I have a hard time calling them by their names. In the Super Nintendo, they were just like boy, girl, and sprite. But their actual names, and they've always had real names, they just weren't official. Randy, Prim, and Papoy. And so Papoy is always knocking on Prim, making fun of her, like calling her a witch and saying that like it's a good thing that she has like healing magic, because if she had any kind of magic that could attack, she'd attack everybody. And so they're always kind of like riffing on her, and it's got great facial expressions whenever these skits are happening. I love that. I think that's one of the greatest things that they did. It also is fully voiced. Every single line in the entire game is voiced. There's no text boxes anyway. I mean, there's text boxes, but like there's no just like text box randomly. It's every single thing is voiced.
It's a lot of voice work.
It is, which is interesting because we looked it up, and for the most part, it's like baby voice actors. Like they haven't really done much. They don't have many credits.
Right.
Some of them, I think I checked 2, this was their very first credit. And one of them was Popoy's voice actress. And I thought she did a good job. I was impressed. So I'll have to keep an eye on her. Another change that they made that I felt like was interesting and very, very good is that one of the points in the original Secret of Mana is that you don't know the gender of the sprite. Like, the gender is always supposed to be ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
And they question repeatedly, like, are you a boy or are you a girl? And it's always just kind of brushed off. And so one of the changes to this version is that sprite is always given they, them pronouns. Which is kind of progressive.
Yeah, it's not something you would expect in, like... You would expect them to just kind of go with, like, whatever was in the original, not, like, update it.
Yeah, so I feel like that was a good change. There's some really bad things done, too, though.
Dun 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 dun.
No, and one of them is that, like, I know that people can crap all they want on, like, the 90s Square Enix translations, but it had a lot of charm, and a lot of that is missing now because they completely retranslated it, so everything kind of feels stiff.
Yeah.
So I think the one benefit is that you have the they them pronoun change, but the rest of it's just like generic.
It loses, like, the heart and the charm that the original had.
It does. You know, it's like when you get the Final Fantasy retranslation, like, you Spoony Bard is taken out. Like, why would you take that out? That's amazing. And I get that they're trying to, like, retranslate it, make it more...
Like, accurate?
Yeah, but a lot of times it just comes off as stale and boring.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. I mean, one of the reasons why people like this game so much is because it had so much personality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of gone with the translation. One of the worst issues that this game had is the fact that it crashed all the time.
Yeah, like, that was something I warned you about, because I saw, like, in the IGN review, the reviewer was like, hey, by the way, this game kind of crashed on me a couple times. That's not good. Here's a heads up for that.
Yeah, and it was not a couple times for me.
Yeah, you got way more.
I mean, I think within, like, a few hour period, playing it on, I think, that Friday,
mm-hmm.
I had 4 different crashes.
And they kept continuing throughout, like, your entire playthrough of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you counted them up, it'd be at least 10 crashes.
Which is not good. That's not something you want out of a game that's A, a remake of a beloved classic, and
right.
B, that many crashes of something that's just coming out. Like, you would think that someone would have, like, saw that at some point and been like, hey, this isn't good. We need to do something about this. Which I think eventually allegedly they did patch something to try and alleviate that. I mean, you haven't went back and tried it, so, like, we can't confirm or deny if that actually fixed it. But this really seems like something that Square looked at and was like, yeah, we don't care. We're going to hit this release date no matter what.
Yeah, and I mean, I put one patch on and it did nothing.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about how you didn't understand why Yakuza was delayed, and honestly, Secret of Mana should have been delayed. They should not have released a game like that. That's terrible. And I would say that Square Enix knows better, but Square Enix doesn't care about anything but money.
I think as well, it doesn't seem like it's super surprising that, like, that game's kind of broken away, because the time that from announcement to release was not long.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that doesn't coincide with like, oh, this is how long it took to develop the game. Like,
Right.
clearly that's not the case, but that could be a potential factor of it. And also just because like they announced that thing and then it kind of just dropped.
Yeah.
Like they didn't put a lot of like, marketing behind it or anything. It was like, hey, we're redoing Secret of Mana. There you go. And then you didn't hear anything about it until literally it came out and everyone was like, oh, right, this thing's coming out.
Yeah.
Usually that's the big indicator of like, oh, something might be wrong here.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I had fun playing it, but I think I had fun playing it because I liked the original.
Yeah.
Because I had issues with the AI that I never had issues with in the Super Nintendo version. And that is problematic that the AI on the Super Nintendo version is better than the version that I played on the PS4.
Yeah, that was something I saw going around was that for some people there were issues with like the AI in the original version.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly they didn't address that or even think about fixing those like problems that the original game had. Which is something if you were like, hey, we're going to remake this, and you're going to the effort of like retranslating it and doing that much work, you would think they would also go, design-wise or at least like gameplay-wise and be like, okay, so the original game had this issue, this issue, this issue. What can we do to address that or alleviate that or try and fix it in some sort of way? And obviously from what you're saying and from what other people have said online, like they did not even attempt that.
I mean, honestly, and it may just be because I haven't played it in a while, it felt worse to me.
Yeah.
Because I would have issues of just a character refusing to attack at all. And I'm like, I'm attacking this person and I have like the setting that says that you attack who I attack. Why are you doing nothing?
That's not good. Nor fun.
No, it's not. It's really, really frustrating. And I'm sure that some other reviews have mentioned this. I don't know why they didn't touch the ring system. They left the ring system in completely intact. So in order to like cast a spell, you have to press the triangle on the PS4, and it's unclear at that point whose ring you're in. So you kind of have to cycle through it to see like whose weapon you're on. That way you can see like, oh, okay, I'm in Prim's ring. I need to be in Popoy's ring. So then you have to press up on the D-pad, or no, you have to press triangle again to get into Popoy's ring. Okay, you're in the ring. Then you have to press up on the D-pad in order to get to the spell you want. Okay, go in the cycle, find the summon you want, click on the summon, then find the spell. That is how you have to like do every magic every single time. And they only gave you like 2 shortcuts. So you have like R1 and L1 as your shortcut magics. But you have like 6 summons amongst 2 characters.
That's the type of thing you would think that, hey, we're remaking this game. Why don't we, we'll include the original way they did this, but also we'll make a modern way or a modern UI to alleviate those issues that the old system had.
Yeah, or at least like make it clear, like you're in this character's ring.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That would be nice. Like you shouldn't have to cycle through which weapon they're on in order to figure out whose ring you're in. And it's just kind of like quality of life issues of the game. Mm-hmm. Like it worked fine on the Super Nintendo because that was 1993, but it's 2018 and you're releasing a game like that, like
a lot has changed in 25 years.
Yeah, and I'm sure that people would have given them a lot of shit if they had left it or if they had changed it. But I mean, they did give the option of like original music or remixed music.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they wouldn't be able to do like this kind of change.
I mean, given that like a common complaint about this thing is, hey, they didn't do enough changes to fix problems that the original game has had.
Yeah.
I feel like people would have been okay with them like changing things like that.
It should have been changed.
Yeah. And
instead we get stuff like they have a new outfit that you can put Prim in where she's in like a leopard bikini.
Because of course that's what they would do.
Right. And it's so irritating because like that's what you put your time into is putting her in a leopard bikini that's like grossly sexualized when she's like 15. I think she's either between 15, Randy's 15, she's 17, I think. But either way, like she's a kid.
Yeah.
Does she really need to be in a tiger bikini or leopard bikini or whatever bikini it is? And like that was one of the things that they were promoting as a pre-order bonus.
Did they call Atlas and like, hey, how do we sexualize our women characters in a way?
How do we be gross as much as possible? Which I mean, like Square has had problems with that, but not usually to this extent. That's one thing that I will actually give Square a lot of credit for is that they've had a lot of like respect in terms of character design for women, or at least they used to in Final Fantasies and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you got like Cindy or whatever she was from 15, and then you get like Tiger Bikini Prim. Like, why are we doing this? And like the thing that's so irritating to me about that is that you also have like tiger outfits or a leopard. I don't remember what they are. It's one of those big cats. They have the outfits also for Randy and Papoy, but they're like, you know, those Japanese pajama suits.
Yes, yeah.
It's like the full body. Like that's what they got.
Because of course that's what they would get.
Right, and it's cute. And then like you put it on Prim, you're like, oh, it's a bikini with a tail. Yay. So that was completely and utterly unnecessary. And another complaint, because this is just my complaint podcast at this point. And this is going to be rare for me, like really, really rare. So I hope you guys are ready. I mentioned that one of the voice actresses was great, but a lot of the voice acting and the dub is really bad.
That is also a complaint I heard, that it's not great.
And I mean, usually when it comes to dubs, like I will defend because they're usually not as bad as people think.
The dub defender has logged on.
Yeah, it's true. Like I will, like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 usually gets a lot of for its dub, and I will defend that dub. I think it's a really good dub. But this one is not that good. Like there's a lot of delivery issues. Like it doesn't seem like the like voice director was giving them a lot of like information of what the character should be feeling or what they should be saying or like what kind of information should be conveyed via voice.
And considering we were talking about, you know, this game probably should have been delayed and how much time or the lack of time between announcement and release and all that jazz, like who knows how long they had to really do this dub.
Yeah.
And that can obviously be an impact on whether the quality is good or bad.
Well, and I know that this is a strange thing to bring up, but this is a thing that Square Enix has done before.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you listen to the Kingdom Hearts 2 dub and if you listen to the Advent Children dub, Mina Savari plays Aerith, whatever you want to call her, and she sounds awful, like absolutely awful. And people were asking Mina Savari about it later, and she's like, I had no direction. I had no context as to what was going on. I had no clue other than here's the script, read it.
Yeah.
And like that's a really famous example is that this beloved character, like Aerith is one of the biggest characters in the entire Final Fantasy series, and they gave zero shits about how she should actually sound.
And it's not like it's a character that like they are just introducing or there's not a lot of like backstory or knowledge about. This is a prominent character that's been in Square's weird extended Final Fantasy universe for years and years by that point. Like obviously she was in 7 and then in the original Kingdom Hearts and probably 30 other spin-off games from that. Like how is it that hard to like not or to just even give direction? Like how do you get to the point where you're not giving direction on like a well-established character?
I it's bizarre, but like that is a well documented situation where Square Enix like dropped the ball on giving some kind of directing. And I mean, that's the thing, is that voice actors kind of have to be told, like, this is what kind of emotion you should be feeling here. This is the context of
Yeah.
the scene. Then you can act it out because you know what's happening. But if you're just given a script, you don't know. And so everything sounds really like jolted and weird. And a lot of times, like, it's completely inappropriate for the moment. And you just sound stiff because you
Directors
don't
are
know
very,
who
very needed in that sort of thing.
they are. And I mean, like I said, most of the time I will defend to the life of me English dubs because they are unfairly treated. But this was a case where it felt rushed and that they didn't have like any kind of information as to what was going on. So I don't exactly know how the voice actress for Popoy pulled it off, especially since this is her first credit. Maybe because the fact that like Sprite's entire character for the most part is just like being a trickster.
Yeah.
So if you just kind of go with that throughout the entire story,
You can get away with it.
It'll fit.
Yeah.
Because that's their character. The entire game is just kind of like pulling pranks, being like ridiculous, making fun of people. Like that's who they are. But I mean, when you're having a scene where Prim is like devastated over something happening with her boyfriend, and it's just like, oh no, Dialogue, what's happening with you? And like,
Real
Prim,
emotional.
what's happening with you? Yeah, like you don't feel it. And when the game is entirely voice acted, like every single line is voice acted, and that may be also an issue, is that there was just too many damn lines.
Yeah, because like usually, I know more modern RPGs are getting where it's like, you know, a good majority of the lines are voice acted. Like look at Persona. Like
Yeah.
the last Persona game, a lot of the lines are voice acted, but obviously they still have a good chunk of lines that aren't.
Yeah. And I mean, the quality of that dub is like insanely bad. Like there's still some issues with that dub, but that one is insanely better than what we got here because, you know, when you have I don't remember how many hours put into it. I think it's probably around 20, but when you have a 20-hour game or something like that and you're having every single line voiced, I mean, you need some kind of information on that character and the context of that character, what's happening with them in order for it to sound decently good.
And that's a lot of lines.
It is a lot of lines. And like voices get tired. You can lose your voice. You can get worn out if it's like a yelling scene. Like if you're having to continuously do this, it weighs on you. So,
and this is the type of things that they just literally had to fight for.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the long and short of it is that it felt like Square Enix didn't give any shits about this remake at all.
Yeah.
For them, it was like a quick cash grab. They're like, hey, people like Secret of Mana. Here's Secret of Mana. And it's like, it looks nice. And I mean, I didn't hate it.
I mean, it seems like the most Square thing for them to be like, hey, we're doing this Seikon Densetsu collection for the Switch. And everyone's like, yo, you guys should bring that over. And they hear that and like, oh, you want us to remake Secret of Mana? Okay, we got it. We got you. And then you get this.
Yeah. It just... There was so much love and charm in the original one, and I feel like if I were to go back and like look at the PS4 version or look at playing it on the Super Nintendo, I would play it on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And that's not great. I mean, like that's the thing, is that remakes are supposed to make these games better and improve them, and I mean,
so you hope.
We just got off the Radiant Historia podcast like a few weeks ago, and like I felt like they just did leaps and bounds better on that than the original game. And I still love the original game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's an instance of like voice acting done right and like upgrades done right, quality of life done right. obviously there's not like a 25-year gap between those two, but I feel like if Square had actually like cared about this game, they would have put in more effort into it.
A remake should make you feel the same way, or at least attempt to. I mean, obviously, some games age differently than others.
Yeah.
But it should make you feel the same way that you felt when you first initially played it, but also give you modernizations that make it seem relevant in the time period that you're playing it in compared to the time period you first played it in.
Yeah.
And this does none of that.
I mean, the one place where it gave us like a positive quality of life change was the fact that it autosaves now.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was because autosave saved my butt a lot when it crashed.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be happy that like you have an improvement and because of something that you broke in the first place.
Right.
But that was the one big thing. I was like, oh, autosave, that's a good thing. But I don't know. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. If you want to play Secret of Mana again, just play it on the Super Nintendo.
And there's a lot of different ways to play that game, like the Super Nintendo version. Like, obviously, it was just out on the Super Nintendo Classic. I'm sure it's probably out on Virtual Console for something, or just play the Super Nintendo. Or there's emulation.
You can't say that.
There's multiple ways to play this game. I'll just say that.
There you go. There you go. And like I didn't play the iOS version, but it exists.
Mileage may vary with those Square ports.
Yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy VI port exists, but I don't know. I felt like I have more love for this game than Square does.
That does not seem like a shocker in any sort of way.
No, I mean that's
in general.
Yeah, that's me with like most of the Square Enix or Square-Soft games. Like, I'm still waiting for them to actually like give a crap about Final Fantasy IX, even though they gave us that iOS remake. We have like 2 characters for Final Fantasy IX and Dissidia. I'm like, oh right, that game exists. Square Enix.
Square gonna square.
It's true. I mean, that's the moral of this story. Is that Square Enix is like my abusive boyfriend.
Oof.
That's a really terrible comparison, but like I keep buying into their and then like getting burned on it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No, I'm not, and it's upsetting because like Square was one of my favorite publishers for like the longest time. Like I was a giant Square fangirl.
But also, like, you have to consider the Square from your childhood is not the Square of today.
It's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, the Square that I loved is dead.
And it's never coming back.
No, it's not. The Square of my childhood essentially died when Sakaguchi left.
Yeah.
All hail the Sakaguchi and the mustache. So, this has turned into an extended rant on Square Enix and my feelings on it. But again, if you listen to any of our podcasts, you would know that these are my feelings. So, yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great.
Could have been better. Could have been a lot better.
It could have been a lot better. There could have been so many improvements made that I would have been like, yes, this is awesome. And when I'm thinking of those and I'm not even like involved in Square or game development or whatever, like that's a problem.
And at least like the takeaway from this can be, hey, that original version's still good, and if you want to play this game and haven't experienced it, like that is still out there. You don't have to suffer through this remake unless you've played it before and you're like, I want to play this remake.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe look up on YouTube some of the like skits so you can see like the new characterization and like the aesthetics of the remake.
Right.
But I can't. Definitely don't pay full price for it.
Because it's like what, 40?
I think it's 50. Thanks, $49.99.
Which either way, that is way too much money.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pay the full price, but even then, don't pay full price for this. Like, maybe if it's like 15, 20, and you really, really want to give it a shot, maybe. But again, I'm just gonna recommend the original.
It's the best way to go.
It is. And the original's not going to crash on you every time you're in the middle of a boss fight.
True.
Mm.
That's already a big positive.
Yeah, no kidding. There is still multiplayer, though.
Yeah.
So.
Well, alrighty.
I mean, that's a good way to end this podcast, is just fart noises. Yeah.
Start off strong, and then you're like, oh, man, Square. Ugh.
I mean, I had to get the positives out of the way before I got to the negatives. And
That's
there
true.
are positives. But, like, do better, Square.
That's not going to happen.
I know.
Should know that by now.
I know. Ultimate tragedy.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode. If you want more from us, you should head over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool for past episodes of this podcast, where we probably dunk on Square at a multitude of times throughout this entire run. And you can also find other podcasts like Jared and I Watch Sailor Moon Crystal and the regular Seasonal Anime Checkup podcast, and also columns and reviews on the site as well. You can find more from Anne Ladyem at anneladyem.com, where she has cool columns and reviews of her own.
I was going to write a piece on this, but I decided that podcast was better delivery.
There you go. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/anime checkup. It's where Twitter happens. And you can support our podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA, where you can be like, hey, here's $1. And you get cool things like us cursing. It's always a bonus.
Yeah.
And other stuff as well. So check it out. $1 goes a long way in terms of support. So there you go. Next week, we are still in limbo, so we'll figure something out by the time you hear us again in a week's time on our special St. Patrick's Day episode.
Oh my God. Do we get to celebrate the fact that I'm like 50% Irish?
Yeah, if we remember.
We're not going to.
So yeah, we'll have something. I don't know. We don't have anything set in stone, obviously, like this week, but we'll figure something out and reconvene and do something fun for you guys, like we always do.
Yay.